So on Tuesday night, March 29th, 2022, I attended an all-party parliamentary meeting on the 12 steps. So the 12 steps, of course, most famously includes Alcohol Anonymous, but there are so many different 12-step programs that support people working with a host of different addictions and are wonderful in helping them transform their lives. Now, this particular APPG meeting on 12 steps was actually talking about how social prescribing links up with the 12 steps. So let me briefly describe social prescribing. Social prescribing is a UK-born initiative based on the understanding that social isolation leads to poor health outcomes. Why? Well, when we're socially isolated, we tend to be more sedentary. We don't eat as well. And in addition, we actually now know that our physiological systems can be regulated, particularly the cardiovascular and the nervous system, in positive ways if we have nourishing interpersonal relationships. Unfortunately, in the modern world, there is a lot of isolation, which has a real-time and concrete effect physiologically. In fact, there's a subset of genes that when we become isolated, get upregulated, causing more inflammation, putting us at risk for a host of health issues. So with this understanding, the UK refers people into activity groups with like-minded people to start building social connections, right? It's brilliant. And we know it's effective because social prescribing, depending upon the district in the UK, is associated with a 20 to 40% reduction in healthcare utilization. Not because people aren't going, because there are real health determinants that are socially related. So when you feel better, it has an effect on your overall well-being, your health. Okay, so with that in mind, we have to look at what the 12 steps are, right? So people come, like-minded people, struggling with a common issue in a non-judgmental environment with a staged approach with communal support to start to recover. And so there's such a gorgeous overlap between the two. And having a long history, now over 75 years actually, 12-step programs, it is understood by governmental offices and, the APPG on the 12 steps that this can really support social prescribing, and I agree. And what I'd like to add to that is that for a while, social prescribing was focusing more on biological outcomes that could be improved. But now there's this movement to really focusing on real significant psychological issues. And personally, hand up if anyone's listening in policy, I think it's time that social prescribing is also working with PTSD. And now that has a host of complications because people can be very vulnerable, but there's absolutely no reason with the knowledge we have with PTSD and how many programs there are in this country that we couldn't create bespoke social prescribing programs for people with trauma, different kinds. So anyway, a very exciting innovation that's occurring, being led by this APPG on the 12 steps. I take my metaphorical hat off to you, and I'd like to see this space grow. Namaste.